Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. Today's video, we are going to be mixing some soulful R&B vocals from scratch, top to bottom. We've got a talented female vocalist, Ami Kim. This track is produced by Wes B. I'll put links below. Let me go ahead and play it back, and then we're going to build some creative effects. We're going to do these chains based off of presets. But then we're not going to waste any energy. We're going to save that for the fun stuff that we're going to be doing with these vocals. So let's go ahead and take a listen, and then we'll get started.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversations. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, it's now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work. Create a new age when you step up in the place. I'm faded.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive in here. Let's start with our lead and our verse here. And I'm going to go ahead and just mute the ad-libs and the harmonies. We're going to deal with those separately here in a second. Real quick, I'm going to just put an EQ on the beat. It's already limited, so a lot of you out there probably get 2 tracks that are already limited to right at 0. And so what I've done is just put a brick wall limiter at, right below 0, just to make sure that we're not going to go above that. But if it's already limited, I don't want to then, reintroduce more limiting and really wreck the dynamics on the beat. So we're going to leave that be, but I do want to just add an EQ to bring up a specific band that, there's just not a lot going on in the high mids, but there's a few instruments there that I want to bring out. So I'm going to activate this Puig Tech EQ, and you already get some nice saturation just by putting this on and engaged. But I'm going to go ahead and just switch the high frequency up to 5K, and let's see if I can hear those instruments. So it just gives us a little bit of brightness, a little more excitement. I'm going to bring the gain back just so that we're not clipping or anything here. All right, so now let's dive into the main vocal. So I'm going to go ahead and mute the ad-libs and the stacks and harmonies for the time being. And what we're going to do is load up a preset for Studio Rack. So I've got a couple just to give us some starting points. So I wanted to show you how easy it is to, just load up one of these chains that already has a lot of the processing that we're going to be doing. It's already got our EQ. It's already got a little bit of compression. You've seen me do this a lot if you've followed the channel. So with Studio Rack, we can just pull up a starting point, and then we can really take it to the next level by making some tweaks here using the macros. So let's just play it back just as is off this preset that I built.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversations. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place.
All right, so not a bad starting point. We've got a little bit of EQ, brought out some brightness. We've got a de-esser. One thing I want to do here is you'll see that in the vocal, just the comp, or maybe this was done in separate takes, it does get substantially quieter, and we're just kind of having to work the compressor pretty hard, once it gets louder. So what we can do is just go ahead and sort of pre-process that or pre-ride the vocal instead of doing automation with Vocal Rider. So I'm just going to move all these down, and our macros will stay in place. That's great. So we'll just go in here and go to Vocal Rider, and we're just going to set up something that's going to ride those little soft points and keep everything in check so our compressor is not getting overworked here.
Flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby,
we just get a little bit more consistency by dialing in that vocal rider first before feeding the compressor and all the other processing here. So next, I mean, obviously we need a cool reverb here. So what we're gonna do is just go ahead and do a send, and we'll go down to bus 1, and we're just gonna call this, let's say wavy reverb, because this whole thing is gonna be wavy, and we're gonna do some cool effects, creative effects. So let's go ahead and reset this. We'll just build something from scratch here. Let's just open up our Reverb, and we'll run a little bit down here and see what we've got.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth.
All right, so let's go ahead and just EQ that. So we'll leave that. Let's try maybe Q10. We'll just get rid of some of this, or quite a bit of it, so that it's not gonna muddy up our vocal too much.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work. Create a new age when you step up in the place.
Sounds pretty good already. Let's do a delay here as well. So once again, name all our auxes. We're staying organized, you know. So I'll just copy that over and we'll start something from scratch here. Let's see, let's do the H delay, and we'll do something cool with this delay.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work. Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place.
All right, so what I did was I just activated the internal sidechain. So that's just gonna make sure that we're ducking that delay anytime the vocal is coming through there.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work.
Yeah, we need this to be really wide. So let's try maybe the S1.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work.
Maybe. Since we're going really wavy, let's start using some of this meta flanger. You're gonna see quite a bit of this plugin in this video.
Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new earth every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place. Sunrise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation, a rebirth conversation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth.
sounds pretty good there. Let's go on to the ad-libs. Let's hear what we can do here with these. And we'll just process directly on here since we've only got one ad-lib track. And we'll load up Studio Rack on there. Start with that.
Is in your eyes.
And maybe we can do something like a telephone sort of effect on these.
Rise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation. Rise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation.
Pull out that meta flanger one more time.
Rise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth. Your flow, baby, is now river proof. You birth a new word every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place. Rise is in your eyes. You're a gimmick constellation of rebirth conversations.
All right, so moving to the stacks now. Let's hear what we've got here. Probably going to route all of these to a bus and maybe do some panning with these as well. Let's go to bus 3. And once again, we'll load over Studio Rack. And we're going to use another preset I've got built here called Stereo Background Vocal Spread. These exact presets are going to be available for you all very soon.
Eyes. You're a gimmick constellation of rebirth conversations. Your flavor is a biscuit smooth.
Already sounds pretty good, but let's hear on the harmonies.
Birth a new word every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place. Birth a new word every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place.
All right, so pretty cool. I'm going to put a gate on here just because I am hearing quite a bit of noise in between those takes. So we'll just pull up, I think it's the C1. Yeah, the C1 gate.
Birth a new earth every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place.
So just be careful not to cut off any words there.
Birth a new earth every time you work. Birth a new earth every time you work. You create a new age when you step up in the place.
All right, pretty good. So let's hear what we got on our hook. What are we going to do here? We're going to get really crazy with this. Mute the harmonies for now. And we'll start with, once again, that easy, clean vocal.
Step up in the place. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded off your wave. Your frequency is great.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to send this down to a new bus here. And we're just going to call this wavy flange. So we're going to do something interesting with this one. So we'll load up Studio Rack again here on this channel. And we're going to start with doubler. So let's go to doubler. So let's turn off the direct, because again, we're going to be mixing it in with our lead. And then we're going to have these really wide panned delays. So let's go ahead and we'll just send a little bit of signal down here. And I'm going to solo it for now.
I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded.
And let's detune these more.
I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave.
Okay, so now that we've got a pretty wide sound there, let's add the meta flanger once again, our friend here for the wavy effect. We've been using this one quite a bit.
I'm faded
It's a cool plugin.
off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded off your wave. Your frequency is gray. Faded off the wave. Faded off the wave. Your frequency is gray. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded off your wave. Your frequency is gray.
Okay, not that much.
Faded off the wave. Faded off the wave. Your frequency is gray.
Now, let's add a big reverb here. So we'll go to Reverb, and I'm going to try maybe the nonlinear.
I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded off your wave.
And we're going to add a pre-delay.
I'm faded.
We're going to go the other way with it. So we're actually going to hear the reverb sound a little early.
I'm faded. I'm faded. I'm faded. I'm faded. I'm faded off the wave.
Let's hear what that's like with it after the reverb.
I'm faded
Ooh,
off the wave.
now that's pretty cool. So let's see what that mixed in. We'll just blend it.
I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and send that main to the wavy reverb, just so we get that consistent sort of texture and space with the verse.
I'm faded off the wave.
And in the context of the beat.
I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded.
And let's see what that sounds like with our delay that we built.
I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded off your wave. Your frequency is gray.
So let's send these to a new bus here, and I'm going to copy this background vocal layer that we had, and we're just going to base it off of that. But we're going to make some changes. Let me go down here.
Frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray.
So I don't want to compress them that much.
Frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray.
So you want to be careful about how much you compress your backgrounds. You know, if you're looking for your background vocals to really pop out of the mix, I would dial the compression, back in, and you'd rather automate things than, over compress your backgrounds.
Frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray. Frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray.
And I think that gate is a little low.
Frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray. 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 Frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray.
So once again, it is jumping around a little bit volume-wise, and so since we didn't write it, I'm just going to do it kind of by ear with just gain, region gain. So not the ideal way of doing this, but hey, as long as you can get everything, close in terms of just that level that we're going to be feeding the compressor with, it's just going to make it a lot more consistent and not have to, once again, overwork the compressor.
Place and I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off the wave. I'm faded off your wave. Faded off your wave. Your frequency is gray. Your frequency is gray. Faded off the wave. Faded off the wave. Your frequency is gray.
let's try something like maybe Enigma, which is a really cool plugin for, moving wavy sorts of effects, especially on 2 tracks. I like to do this. So let's see what we can accomplish with our spacey effect.
Full spaceship with you. Full spaceship with you.
All right, so you get the idea here. A lot of fun and creative things that we can do here with the Studio Rack plugin chainer. Even though we started with many presets, we still catered them and customized them to really tailor them to this specific song. And we did some cool modulation, some wavy effects that really give it a unique texture. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about how we used these creative plugins and creative mixing processes with Studio Rack, feel free to leave a comment below. If you learned anything in the video, please like, subscribe, and consider sharing. And we'll talk to you soon.
So